Greetings, everybody. I'm fine. How do you do? Welcome to the Corona Comics crisis. By now, most of you have already heard we're not going to be doing a live show because Night Tiger Comics was called into work. Alex, the comic hoarder, couldn't do it for some reason. I don't know what it was. And prior to that, we were having some kind of technical difficulty because Alex wasn't able to hear me, but we were doing kind of a pre-show thing with Biggie Shack and Night Tiger, myself and Alex, and he could hear everybody else fine, but he couldn't hear me. I could hear him, but he couldn't hear me. So I don't know if that problem got worked out, but there's not going to be a live show Sunday, which is today, which is tonight. I don't even know when I'm going to upload this. But we are having a Corona crisis. So, what better beer? Corona crisis, yes? I haven't had a beer in a long time. 3 weeks. Wow. No wonder people are getting the virus. Myrus the virus. There's a guy that lives in my neighborhood. His last name is... Well, never mind. I shouldn't even mention it. They used to call... Well, he actually told me the story. They used to call him, when he was a kid, they used to call him... His last name is Myrus. They used to call him Myrus the virus. Boy, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin here. I got comics to show. I got stuff to talk about, particularly the effect that this distribution crisis, as a result of the Wuhan virus, is causing, or is going to cause. There's a big disruption going on in the distribution world of comic books. And I always suspected and always said that, and a lot of other people as well, not just me, they always suspected that there would, if there's ever a crisis within the industry involving distribution, we're going to be in big trouble because Diamond has a virtual monopoly, and I always thought the monopolization of a comics distribution system is just is awful, is terrible. And you know, it hasn't been this bad since I would say 1957, when we had a crash, or pretty close to a damn crash, when what was that distribution company, American News Company? They were the big distributor. I mean, DC by that time distributed their own books, and Hearst Publications and some other companies that used to all depend on ANC, American News Company, to have their products distributed. But some of those publishers went, that I just mentioned, eventually got different publishers. Hearst got a different publisher, and DC started their own. I mean, not a publisher, distributor, and DC did their own distribution. By 1957, they were not having to worry about the collapse of the distribution system too much. But other companies went out of business. I mean, there was Farrell Publications, which had the imprint of, which had Ajax imprint, and they published some of the great horror titles, Haunted Thrills, Haunted Thrills, Fantastic Fears. I showed you some of those books before, and they had imprints like Red Top, 4 Star, Star Publications, and Star Publications was um, at that time was publishing The Phantom Lady, which was originally published by Quality. It was also being published by Victor Fox at one point, but they went out of business. And then there was Green Publishing that was basically publishing funny animal comics like Atomic Mouse. They went out in '57. Feral Publications, Ajax, that I just mentioned, went out in '58. Yeah, 1958. Sometimes I can't remember all this shit, but it was in those years, '57, '58. And companies like Fox Features, Magazine Enterprises, they went out in 1958. This was after the collapse of American News Company in 1957, because the government went after them, filed an a trust lawsuit against them. And they were found guilty in I think it was '57. They were found guilty of restraint of trade, and one of the biggest customers that they had at the time was Dell Comics, and Dell was already getting tired of being associated with a distributor that, you know, was having these problems with the government involved in the antitrust lawsuit. So they dropped out. Ladies Home Journal, no, Ladies Home Journal, it wasn't Home, Ladies Home Companion, and I think, what was that other one? Collier's. They went prior to the collapse of American News Company in '57. They had already stopped publishing, those companies, so they lost them too. And now Dell Comics decides to get another distributor. So that was like the icing on the cake. That, you know, that was it. And they couldn't. They decided to, I think, sell their real estate, and they just disappeared. They just suddenly stopped everything. They were found guilty, and I don't know what happened, but they just suddenly disappeared. They were just gone, and it left everybody scrambling for distributors. A lot of these companies couldn't do it. You know, Magazine Enterprises was I can't remember if Enterprise. No, wait, they didn't have I was about to say that they also had some other imprints, but I don't think that they did. They just had Magazine Enterprises, and they had the Ghostwriter with Dick Ayers, and they had who was that guy that does all the Cave Girl stuff? It was called Cave Girl. Frank Cho. Frank Cho was doing Cave Girl, but not at that time. That was Bob Powell, who did the original Cave Girl, and then I think Frank Cho in modern times revived it, you know. But anyway, all these companies just dissolved. They went kaput. And Atlas, that became Marvel, would have did the same thing, because they had no distribution system that they can rely on except to go to DC. You know, Martin Goodman had already, they were distributing their own, but he decided it was better to get rid of it for some reason and go with, let DC distribute it. Or not let DC distribute it, let A&C distribute their books, but then A&C went out of business, just like that. So that now, Marvel has got nobody. They have to go to DC. But it was a mess. I mean, it was a mess. Big freaking mess, man. I mean, Quality Comics, well, Quality Comics was another one that went out of business. They went out of business in late '56, and between December of '56 and January of 1957, just before the collapse of the ANC. But that was already coming, and I think that Quality Comics knew it because of the antitrust lawsuits, and so they sold off a lot of their characters to DC, I guess it was, like Black Hawk, and I think at the time they had published Quality Comics by this time was publishing Phantom Lady again. Everything gets so freaking convoluted, man. You lose yourself in this shit. And then Plastic Man too. Quality Comics had Plastic Man. So I think they knew what was coming, and they sold off all their stuff to DC, and they were gone. But this was a bad time in 1957, and this is going to be one for the history books, because we literally didn't have this kind of a problem since then. I think, I'm pretty sure. I mean, outside of the debacle that was Ronald Perlman in the 90s when he took over as CEO of Marvel, dragged that company through the frickin' dirt. Wow. That company, Marvel, and that's why I ended up filing bankruptcy, because of him. He was a prick, and he cared nothing about the company except money. And there's a good documentary out by DW, as a matter of fact. DW is a news agency from Germany called Deutsche Welt, sort of like the BBC, and they have an incredible documentary out on the Marvel crisis of the 90s. But anyway, yeah, when he took over Marvel as CEO in '89 or '90, the stocks, Marvel stocks, were like $32 or $33, and by the time they threw him out, by the time he was ousted from Marvel in '98, or I think around '98 or '97, somewhere around there, Marvel stocks were like 96 cents. 96 cents. I should have bought it then. But I mean, now you can't touch it, you know. But that was a time to buy. But that guy shamefully dragged that company right through the biggest dirt. It's unbelievable. But I think, generally speaking, this does not compare to them, because that was just the one company. And we didn't have a problem with the distribution system at that time. But now we do. Now, I mean, there are no other companies. There was a monopolization of this distribution system by Diamond. But Diamond is, you know, they'll probably come back. But when this crisis is over, but I mean, there's no 100% guarantee, but I'm pretty sure that they will. But, and there's a lot of buts, because there's companies right now, there's smaller comic book companies, just like in 1957. You look in the Diamond catalog, you see all these small publishers. They don't have anybody to distribute their books. This might go on for 2 months. It could go on for 3 months. They're not gonna come back. They're just not. Not only that, but a lot of stores are not going to be able to open again, because what are they going to do? They're shutting down now because they got no customers. Customers are afraid to go in there because of the coronavirus, the Wuhan coronavirus. So they don't have any business. They have to close, and Diamond can't distribute the books because they got nobody to distribute to. And when it's all over, these small shops that are not gonna, that were struggling already, are not gonna come back. A lot of them will, of course, but a lot of them won't. I mean, they still gotta pay rent. They're closed, but they still gotta pay rent. They're probably figuring, well, they'll last out a month. Maybe they can hold out 2 months. Maybe they'll work out a deal with their landlords or something and be able to pay the rent back when they reopen and start doing business again. That's going to be something that they'll have to work out with the landlords and so forth. But I don't know. I'm concerned that we'll come back. We will come back for sure. But how and what that's going to look like is there's a lot of uncertainty. I don't know. And I wish that I could be doing this live. I would love to have a live chat right now. But I don't know anything. I don't know how to do this. Whew. Yeah. Well, Marvel had DC back then to distribute their books under a very oppressive system. They were only allowed 8 titles and only so many characters. But Marvel got around the title thing by this is one of the reasons why we ended up with Tales to Astonish and Tales of Suspense, Strange Tales. They were able to get create those anthologies and have two titles in one book. Eventually, they were allowed to publish 11, something like 11 titles, and Marvel actually was publishing 2 or 3 more than they were allowed to and got away with it. How, I don't know. But anyway, that was then. Let me show you some comics here. Some recent stuff I picked, recent comics that I picked up. You know what? I'm gonna go and get myself a beer. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Okay, what did I get? I found these in a box of stuff. It's kind of mixed up here. Oh, it's from January. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm going to put this over there. Put my books where they won't get wet. Still love the series. I like his artwork, Jim Ballant. This is 116. Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose. Tarot. There's another 116. That's the other copy. And you know what? He's still only charging $2.95 for these books. I should have had I usually have my box set up or something, for crying out loud, to put these books in. Let me put them over here. Put that there like that. Yeah, that's gone. So I don't know what's going to happen with all this stuff. This is a book called Stitched. I can show this because they're not showing any naughty things. It looks like they are, but they're not. Everything is covered up. But this is a horror title that basically, let's see, the artwork is by Daniel Getty. I found it interesting. You know, basically got it for the covers, and there was the story seemed to be story's all right, but I think there's too many large panels with art and then not enough dialogue. At any rate, let me tell you what this is about. Okay. Alright, Stitched. The Stitched are an ancient undead evil. A cursed black liquid fills mortal shells that have had all openings sewn shut. Taking their life and mummifying their body, they become stitched, and then respond to only one thing: the sound of rocks in a can, which unleashes them in an indiscriminate killing rampage. They feel no pain. They can lose limbs, be shot, burned, and crushed, all to no avail. They will stop until the sound that drives them ceases. Kind of a weird thing. Rocks in a can sets them off. As long as no one hears the rocks in the can, they won't be awakened. But once they start shaking those rocks, it's all over. Oh, there's some naughty stuff right there. I don't think I can show that. I mean, that I got adults here. You know, this ain't for kids. This is not for kids. Like I said, not for kids here. Stay away from my channel, damn it. But here's the back cover. So that's what it is. Interesting. A lot of brutal terror in here. Here's issue number 3. $5.99, you know, which I think is a little high, but you get a lot of. There's no advertising in here, so that's probably a good thing. This is from June 2019. And there's text stories in here. Yes. Number 2, 3. Here's the variant to number 3. Look at that cover. Oh, yeah. Oh, here's a variant number 2. This is by Avatar Press. I mean Avatar Comics. I'm still thinking of the distribution problem that we're having here. Here's another variant, stitched number 2. This is another variant of number 2. I have some more stitched in there? I thought I did. What's Finite doing? Oh, maybe there ain't. I do have number 1 and I have number 4, but I don't know where the hell they are. They're in another box. I've just been pulling stuff out of boxes that I haven't opened up in I don't know how long. I keep looking at this. My Roy Rogers yo-yo. Roy Rogers and Trigger. Pet Shop Boys. I want to be a cowboy, and you could be my cowgirl. Oh, now here's a series that I gotta show you this. I bet you a lot of people didn't even pick this up. I liked it. I was turned on to this by my friend Leo. This series here. It's called The Vampire State Building. Hello, you just moved all by yourself. The Vampire State Building. Now this is a series that centers around the Empire State Building in New York, and there's something going on the 14th floor. There's a remodeling construction crew that accidentally uncovers something that's been entombed on that floor for a very long time, and it turns out to be and it has to do with ancient Indian curses and folklore and tales of vampirism. But before you know it, he's got a whole brood of vampires, an entire army, and they take over the building, and the army is called in. They trying to figure out what this is, and they think it's terrorists that have taken over the building and so forth. It's pretty interesting. Sorry, I should have gave you a spoiler warning. That was dumb. Well, I didn't give away too much though. So this is number 4. Charlie Adlard and Angie Renault do the book. Let me see if I can get a little bit clearer. See, that's another thing. When I'm doing a live show and it's being hosted, I don't have the ability to focus. When I want to show a book, I can't do any refocusing like I am now. That's number 4. Oh, here's another variant of number 4. The Vampire State Building, from the artist of The Walking Dead. Little bit of the comic Crypt of Castle Hills. Here's another variant of number 4. Another variant of number 4. I got these all at a pretty good price, and I read everything in one, read the whole series in one night. I loved it. I did. And I'll show you some of the artwork in one of the books. I get around to it. It's another number 4. I think that's got 2 copies of this variant. Number 3. This is put out by, let me focus this a little bit. Ablaze. Let's see if I can get this mic closer. Maybe it's too far away. There we are. Number 3. Let me give you a look, see at some of the art in here. Come on. Come on out of there, you nincompoop. Oh, not like that. You almost entered it. In fact, I think no, he didn't. Well, here's the center spread. Let's see if I can't raise it up a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit blurry, but I'm only doing that, so I can show you some of the stuff that's going on here. Oh, what does this remind you of? In the elevator shaft. What movie does that remind you of? Come on. Let me hear ya. I'm not going to say it. But if you're a horror fan, then I know you've seen that movie, the original, that was followed by many sequels. So I like the artwork. It's not the classical kind of artwork that I love, but I still like it a lot. Here's another copy number 3. This is a variant. Is it number 3? Yeah. Is this number 3? Yes, of course it is, you fool. What is the matter with you? Nothing, Mama. My name is Jose Jimenez. That used to be a TV show back in the 60s. I can't even remember what it was. This Hispanic guy was the elevator operator, the bellboy, and they would ask him what his name is. What's your name, son? He would always say, "My name is Jose Jimenez." They wouldn't do that today anymore because that would be kind of, I guess, derogatory. Would be considered derogatory or stereotyping. Number 3. And another number 3 variant. And here's another number 3 variant. Oh, I bet you Leo. Leo, if you're watching this, I'll bet you'll like this cover. He's an artist himself. Well, he doesn't draw comic books, but he's an artist, and he loves architecture, buildings and bridges and things like that. Especially city scenes and the water towers on top of old buildings. And this is a cool city scene. The skyscrapers, the tall buildings. Oh yeah. New York is burning. This is another number 3 variant. I think they modeled this vampire character a little bit on Nosferatu. Finally, we get to number 2. Oh, this is nice. This is a what a homage to King Kong, the King Kong movie. Sorry for my voice. Let me focus and get this a little bit closer. What a beautiful, the 1933 King Kong with was it Ray Fay or Fay Ray? There's another number 2 variant, the black and white variant. Ooh, he looks like a hairy sumbitch right there. Excuse the language, sorry. Number 2, another variant. I'm not too thrilled by a lot of these variants here, but, you know, for the price I paid, it was alright. This number 1, no, it's number 2. Another number 2 variant. This one is the same as the last one. No, not the same as the last one. It's the same as the black and white variant I showed you of this one. It's in color. Finally, we get to number 1. Oh, another one, a number 1. How did I get that? 2, the same one. This is a variant. I think this is the one that my buddy Leo got me, and actually it turned me on to the whole series. I liked it, and I had to get the rest of them. You know, this would be a great concept for a movie. Maybe that's the idea that this artist and the artist of The Walking Dead had all along, because he's the co-creator of this. Maybe that's what the idea was all along, was to create something for a possible television series. I don't know. Look at this. Oh, crap. I gotta pause this for a minute. Be right back. Oh, and I'm back. Okay. Back to the Vampire State Building number 1. This is a variant. Oh, this is the Shoot. Infinity Gauntlet. I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I hope it is. God. Man, I'm losing my mind. Well, this one, I know for sure. The Empire State Building #1 variant. This is the homage to, trying to focus over there. Tomb of Dracula, #10. This is the first appearance of Blade. What happened to the focus, baby? There. Oh, I love this variant. These are rather expensive for a recent book of for an indie company. I mean, I got it pretty reasonable. I think I paid $10, but now these are already like $20, $30. Oh, nice. Love it. I love it. I'm glad I got all of them. I'm glad Leo turned me on to this. Well, no, I'm not. You made me spend more money, dude. Oh, here's something else I picked up from my comic shop that's been in my box. I got boxes at my comic shop that go back, and this is no joke or no exaggeration, probably 8 months. Without any exaggeration, about 8 months. I was having a lot of difficulty with being able to pay my bills and credit cards and taxes and stuff, but my buddy Mark over there at the shop, he was very kind and very patient, you know, and letting me keep my comics and stuff, and letting me continue to order without being able to pick up from the previous month. Here's something else I just got out of a box over there not too long ago. I picked up a box of comics from the shop, you know, about that big, an 18-inch box, and filled with books. And I don't never know what's in there. I don't even know what year it is. It's probably from last year. Casper the Friendly frickin' Ghost. Oh, for Christ's sake, I got a wire caught over here. Goddamn hand sanitizer. Hold on there, folks. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you do a live show. I'm not doing a live show. Anyway, alright, here we go. I had a very, big interest in this because these were the books that got me started on comic book collecting. They helped me to start reading. The Harvey comics. My vitamins. You can't even see them, but they're in there. What a better a better way to take vitamins than with beer. For a minute there, I thought I swallowed the lime. You know, when you're in self-quarantine, and not quarantine, but sheltered in. Like we're under a sheltered-in order here in Chicago, and you don't venture out unless it's absolutely necessary for medicines or the essentials. But we do our best, and my wife is here because her work is closed right now because of this. So we're spending a lot of time getting to know each other. That might sound weird, but you know, it's true. We got a weird relationship somehow, some way. You know, we're getting on each other's nerves. I spend more time down here than I ever have. Casper the Friendly Spook. But, oh, I love these books, these Harvey comics. Speaking of which, I think I got some in there, some old ones in there. Let's see. Oh, I got a lot of stuff in here. Oh. Casper, Nightmare. I'm glad that horse is a female horse. Oh, look at that. You see that over there? Right there, where it says PDC. That was their distribution company. Publisher. I forgot what they call it. Huh? I think it was called Publisher Distributor Corporation. PDC. That was one of the ones that distributed. Anyway, then this is such a nice cover. I love this cover. That's why I got 2 copies of it. Let me see what first printing 2019, last year. Doesn't give a month on there. Nope. You know, the thing what I don't like about this company here, look, we got it's all done in a classic Harvey cartoon art style. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, what I don't love about this company is that they're gouging you. They're taking advantage. Not that the price of the comic book is not realistic. I mean, $3.99, not this book, but they have variants that look worse than this. The cover looks worse than this. Variant covers. And they want $10 for them, $9.99 for their variants, and they limit the variants to a certain amount, and they charge $10. That turned me off. It really, really turned me off. They're supposed to be gearing this towards kids, try to get kids introduced into our hobby, and they're doing it by gouging you like that. That's disgusting, man. Now, they could do what they want. It's a, you know, free country. It's based on capitalism. That's capitalism for you, baby. What happened to my beer? Oh, no. There's a jar of honey over there. What did I do with my beer? Oh, there it is. Oh. Now the next one I got to show you here is, I wish I had all the other copies of this. I do, but I don't have them here. This is Apama, the Undiscovered Animal. This is a great series. Very, I don't think it's getting enough attention, but It is absolutely a wonderful series. I got the variants to that. The companion book is The Tap Dancer. I don't have any copies here, but this is Hero Tomorrow Comics. If you haven't checked this series out yet, but especially the Tap Dancer series, please do. You might be glad that you did. This is very underrated. I wouldn't be surprised if this at some point would become a possible TV series like that Vampire State Building, but I have a feeling that the Vampire State Building series, that they deliberately geared it towards Hollywood instead of fans, comic book fans. Here's something else I discovered in a box over there. Schizo? What? 1, 2, and 3. It's a black and white, mature audiences comic book. Mature readers only. It's in the vein of the 1960s underground comics. It's all black and white. Yeah. All white babies are pigs. That's right. All white babies is pigs. Let me get that focus out of there. That's funny. Funny as hell. I think all babies are pigs. Especially when you try to feed them. Or when you let them feed themselves and they start throwing the shit at you right in your face. This. Oh my god. I love. This is I think this is Tim Vigil's brother, Donald Vigil, isn't it? Or am I nuts? Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, man, have named you. All Saints, let me get it. Oh God, I just can't stand it when I. Oh, there's a lot. This is a cardstock. All Saints Evil. Isn't that a gorgeous cover? How about that? Focus that in a little bit. That is just a beautiful cover. Wow, I love it. Let me show you some of the interior artwork here. It is done in black and white. Oops, I can't show you that. Nope. No, I don't want to show you that. I can't do that. They're showing, well, never mind. This is definitely for adults. This is not for kids at all. But the artwork in here is gorgeous. The black and white artwork, this is gorgeous. But that cover is just absolutely out of this world here. It's from another realm. Mona Lisa was a one-shot at the time. Well, it is by Broken Halos Publishing, and right now I think I'm gonna cut the video off at this point. I don't want it to be too long. I might start. Oh, you know what else? I'll tell you that in the next video. I'm gonna probably record another video, but upload it on a different day, since I'm down here. So I don't want to make this video too long. I want to show you the rest of these in part 2, which I will just do right now, I think, after a quick break. But I might upload it another day. But at any rate, yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything with this, the possibilities that could occur as a result of diamond distribution shutting down, and what that means for the industry. Obviously, it changes everything, no matter what you might think or believe. One thing is for sure, it's going to change everything about the way I'm talking about not just the shutdown of Diamond Comics distributors, but I'm talking about the shutdown of our whole economy and everything that's happening right now with the Wuhan virus. Or if you prefer, the COVID-19 virus, or if you prefer the coronavirus, which I don't like at all, because I think that's really discriminatory towards the people from Mexico that are producing this Corona Extra. I mean, you know. Alright, people, thanks for watching and tuning in. Till next time, live long, be well. Did I just say live long and be well? Live long and be well. Whoa.